Hello and welcome to Tracy Momey Reads. I am back again with another book review. Last week was just so crazy, so I did miss posting last week. You had Mother's Day, my birthday, woo-hoo, and my son. Oh my God, my son is graduating, and he attended a program, what they call early college high school. So last Friday, he had his college graduation. I don't know why I'm doing quotes because it is college. It's like a 2-year university, but he's also getting his high school diploma. So at the same time that he was in high school, he was doing this like dual credit type thing. So, which is really cool because it's putting him like 60 credits ahead pretty much for when he starts his undergraduate. So anyway, I just wanted to like plug that because I'm so proud of him. But that is the reason why I just could not make it happen last week. Just too much going on. But I am back, and this week I am going to be doing another book review. The book I'm going to be talking about today is Monogamy. Monogamy by Sue Miller. This book I actually got on Mother's Day because on Mother's Day, my family took me to the bookstore. I know, isn't that just amazing? So I picked this one up based on the blurb on the back. I had never heard of it, because like I said, that's how I do. I have books that I do want to read, but a lot of times if it's something that sparks my interest or somebody tells me about it, I may, okay, well, forget about what I wanted to read. I want to read this now. And I will say this was quite a departure from books that I have been reading lately. Most of the books that I've been reading have some type of suspense or thriller element, or it's self-help or humor, kind of fast-paced action, and things like that. And this particular book, it was very slow-paced. It was more like a character study. I kind of liken it to, how there are all these movies that like are nominated for Academy Awards, and the vast majority of us have not ever seen them. I mean, at least 2 or 3 of them, you're like, you never even heard of them because they are like movies that appeal to cinephiles, and they're looking at the elements of the filmmaking and not so much, necessarily either the story itself or there's not like big splashy production like a Marvel movie. There's good acting, things like that. And those are generally the kind of movies, right, that are nominated for Oscars. And this book is kind of like that in a way, whereas on its face, it's not like, a serious page turner. But the characters themselves, they have depth, and it's kind of slow paced, and I enjoyed it, but I have to admit I did put it down initially and then had to go back and pick it back up to get my mind kind of wrapped around the type of story, because I'm like kept thinking, what's gonna happen, and I already kind of knew what was gonna happen from the blurb. The blurb is what drew me in because it follows a couple, Graham and Annie, who appear to be like the perfect couple, which we all know there's no such thing. But, to their friends and family, their affection and their like friendship and their love for life and just the type of people they seem perfectly matched. And I mean, it's apparent that they really do love each other. And Graham is a bookstore owner, and he's, the way that the author describes him, he's a big gregarious man, full of life. Annie is a bit more reserved and kind of introspective, but she likes the parties and everything. She's a photographer, so she spends a lot of time taking pictures and stuff at the party. And they have 2 adult children. They have one together and then one that Graham had from his first marriage to a woman named Frida. And him and Frida, I mean, because they have a kid together, it's like when you have a child together, even after you divorce, you're like in each other's life forever. But the twist in this is that, Annie and Frida have formed a friendship. They're like really good friends. And they even, as the story goes on, they're kind of there for each other's children when, their children are going through like puberty and having these bouts of like hating their mom, they go to the stepmoms and kind of find that understanding and stuff that they're looking for. So it takes blended family to a whole nother level. But this is the crust of the book. Graham suddenly dies. So that's on the blurb, not a spoiler, but he dies, and Annie takes it really hard, right? And then she like learns of, a secret that Graham had been keeping. And I don't want to mislead anybody, because it's not like this big, huge secret, like he was killing cats or had people in the basement. It wasn't anything like that. I mean, early on in the book, while Graham is still alive, the reader learns what the secret is, but Annie doesn't find out until after his death. And it kind of like, it's one of those things where you have somebody on a pedestal and they get knocked off of it because of something that they've done, and you don't have the opportunity to confront them because they're no longer here. You know what I mean? So you've got to live with that for the rest of your life, knowing what they did and never hearing why, never getting an apology, never getting any closure, so to speak, from what he did. So like I said at the beginning, this I feel like was merely a character study. It was like an examination of a marriage and of all the relationships that linger on the peripheral and how they affect the marriage and the people in that marriage, and what a family really is, what that even means. And, every like main character, as far as Frida, Annie, Graham, and then there are two kids. The son's name was Lucas and the daughter was Sarah, I believe. The relationships they had with each other. I think it's really interesting. I read this book a long time ago, and it was a self-help type book, and it was about family or something along those lines. But it talked about how all the different relationships that exist within a family. Like, I'll give you an example. So in my family, it's me, my husband, and I have a son and a daughter. So there's 4 of us in my family. But there's the relationship between me and my husband. There's the relationship between me and my son. There's the relationship between me and my daughter. And you got the relationship between my husband and my son, my husband and my daughter, then my daughter and my son. Like, so there's like multiple, like 7 or 8 relationships in the house between 4 people. And in all those relationships, everyone behaves differently. You're not the same person you are with your children that maybe you are with your spouse. And maybe there's something different, if you're a mother, how you deal with your daughter as opposed to your son. And, a father and his son versus a father and his daughter. So there's all these different dynamics at play. And then when you have like, in the case of, this book where the wife and the ex-wife had a relationship, right? Annie had a relationship with her stepson. Frida had a relationship with her daughter. So it's all of these connections and how ultimately, those bonds are strengthened because everybody kind of has those separate relationships. Because this is the thing, like in the book, when Lucas, the son with the ex-wife, when he was going through his teen years and he was kind of resenting his mother and wishing that, Annie was his mom and that he lived with the dad and, the mom full time. She was the one that kind of saying the praises of his mother, making him see his mom in a different light. Because sometimes, we're too close to people to really see them for who they are. And I think that is a lot of what happened in this book, because Graham was actually still friends with his ex-wife. They just couldn't make it work because, he just had his appetite was too big. Okay. Keep that in mind. And he confided some stuff to her that Annie found out about after he died. And again, it was like she felt betrayed, but that was a part of himself in a relationship he had with his ex-wife. And I know many people probably can't even fathom someone still having a relationship with their ex-wife while they're married to someone. And I will say that the relationship between him and Frida, I mean, it was totally non-sexual. There was no desire there. I mean, outside of sharing a child, I think they shared a history in that they were really, really young when they got together. Like, I want to say still in college. Maybe they met first year of college or second year of college. So you're talking about 19, 20 years old. So they shared this history. And more than anything, I think Graham, the husband, considered her his friend, like a legitimate friend. And it did, though, come back to bite him in the ass, but he was no longer around to pay the consequences. But yeah, it's just so much, and it's just kind of so hard to talk about because there weren't these twists and turns and things that I'm trying not to spoil, because it just really was a story about people and their flaws and their relationship and their love and their character traits and, things like that. So if you're into books like that just kind of explore just everyday human life, the mundane and small details that we often overlook. If you're looking for a book that deals with grief, because there is a lot, because Graham dies, and how everybody, again, when I talked about the relationships, everybody grieved him differently because of the relationship that they had with him. Well, this is definitely your book. Again, this isn't a book that is going to, if you're looking for a fiction book, like me, most of the time when I read fiction books, I'm looking for escapism. This isn't so much a book about escapism. This book deals with real life issues, and it can be triggering for some people. But at the end of the day, I think that reading books like this kind of lets you know you're not alone. Even though it's a fiction book, it is very much rooted in circumstances and situations that I am certain people have either been in or found themselves in, or maybe will find themselves in the future. So yeah, Monogamy by Sue Miller. Very different read for me, but something that I enjoy. I think it's good if you're someone who really likes the written word and you're not just a fan of a particular type of writing, but you like the nuances and just the art of writing, the beauty of writing. I think it's good to read a variety of books to expand your horizons, your knowledge, tap into your empathy, and things like that. Because I know some people that they read the same kind of books, and that's fine. If you're into fantasy and that's all you want to read, or historical fiction and that's all you want to read, hey, to each his own. I make no judgments. I just think reading a variety of books, it makes you a more well-rounded reader, ergo a more rounded person, because you get to kind of experience a variety of experiences through these different authors and their stories. If you have read Monogamy by Sue Miller, or if any of her other books that you might want to recommend, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you like this video, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, I mean, what more can I do? I did my hair today. I have on hoops. All this is for you guys. And to everyone who already subscribes, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the real MVPs. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.